Start building my to-do lister app through React. First, I'm going to read through my directions and my deliverables to see exactly what I have to build out. Display multiple to-do lists, each with their own title. To-dos can be checked or unchecked. I have a button that will hide or show checked or unchecked to-dos. To-dos can have tags. Users should be able to filter to-dos by tags. Everything must be persisted, so when a user leaves, comes back to the page, their to-dos will still be available. You do not need to style this. You do not need to write a backend. This will be front only for a single browser. Okay, so to begin, I would start with creating the form in order to create a task, the first initial task. So we'll go into my app. Here, we'll create another file. Call it task. List there. And this is where they will create their initial task and post it to the app. So here I'm importing it. So I'll have access to it, and we're gonna get rid of this so we don't have an intro anymore. Okay. Just go right underneath it. Okay. So here is where we're gonna place our task list there. We do that by a simple tag like this. Okay. And then in task lister, we're gonna make this a class. We're gonna import React. React. Make it a class. And I'm just using this as reference to make sure I write it out completely right. So class task lister extends react.component. I do realize you can put component in here in curly braces and just call it component, but I feel more comfortable in this practice, so I'm going to stick to my usual practice. Okay. Again, just further making sure I have the right setup. And here we're going to have a state because we want some new things with our task when we create it. So the task list is going to have a value. Well, task. We'll make it a task. Task. We'll make it a name. Equals empty string. Okay. Then we'll go over render. And this is what's going to be returned. To feel a bit of anxiety, that's why I keep going back and forth to make sure that I have the right setup here. I think it's due to the time constraint, but I'll push forward. Return here. Make sure this is all set up correctly. Render, return. Perfect. Okay, so in here we have everything has to be with a div. So we close our div tags in here. Then here we're just gonna have the input, and it's gonna have a value which is going to be equal to empty string. No, actually it's gonna want to be this.state dot name. We're gonna have an on change in here. So as soon as we text, so we can. And this is gonna reference on change handler. Okay, that's good, that's good. And now we gotta make sure we're exporting the defaults. Export defaults task lister. Close that there, there. Okay. So now, if we did this correctly, go over to JS, make sure it's in there. We should see an input field. And let me just add this here so we show something here. Placeholder. I'll make this task. So now if we go over to our React website and we see a problem. Undetermined contents. Okay, first problem. Let's see how we handle this one. So it's telling me the syntax error is undetermined JS contents, which tells me the error. Oh, okay, I see the error. I did not close out my input tag. I believe that's the error. So it's telling me that I have the incorrect JSX syntax here. Let's see if that was the issue. It was the issue. Okay. So now we have this field here, and notice we can't change anything in it, but we do have an input field where someone can place a task. Okay. And we're also going to want to be able to submit this test. So let me just add that as well in there. Add task. So we're going to have this submit. Well, button, yes. Add task. Close that out here. And here we're going to be on submit because we want to make sure we submit this, that, on submit handler, because we're going to want to make sure we submit our handler, whatever our task is, we submit it into the name here because we want this to persist. Okay, so now that we have that, let's just make sure that button appears there. There we go. We have it popping up right here. And on submit. Okay, so now we have to build out our methods for these handlers. So the first one we're going to attack is the onChange one, just so we can actually start typing inside of here. So that we simply just do onChange handler, or what we called it. And we're going to make it equal to a arrow function here. Normally this takes an event, but we don't have to do it. It does it explicitly or implicitly, or where that goes. Actually, we are going to use it, so let me just have it so I can just pull it right away and know what I'm using. Okay, so on here, this is where we want to change the state to what they're changing in the value. As we notice here, the value is equal to the state. So on change, we're going to set the state. So this dot set state, which is a built-in function that we get, and takes in a new state, and we're basically just going to say the name is now equal to the event.target.value, which is exactly what they're typing in here. So now if we look over to our app, I'll also have the ability to type and make sure to further test this out to make sure I'm doing it correctly. We can actually throw a console.log right here and just see what our state is for the name. See if it changes. So we open up, we go back in here, we open our developer tools, and we start typing, and we can see on the side right here that it is changing. Okay, so now it is the persisting time. So what this is going to do, I gotta think this one out a little bit because I want to be able to hit this button here. When I hit this button, maybe I want to do it on click instead, I believe, actually. My reason for this is because when I click this button, I simply want to create a new div on the click. Well, submit would do the same thing. I'm going to try out this method first, and I will backtrack to onSubmit as I'm more familiar with the onClick, so I'll do it with this first. And then if this does not give me my desired results, I will retract back to onSubmit and work it from that end. So from here, we do onClick handler. Again, another error function. And here is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a simple return. And here, oh, wrong, we don't want curly braces in there. We want to return some JSX, I believe here. So, okay. Let me think this one out. So on click, it returns. Okay, div. Kind of doing this in a hard way. I think it would be better formatted to break it out into separate components, I believe. But right now I'm kind of in a situation where I'm not really sure where I'm going, but I just want to be able to just display it straight on the page. So that's kind of what I'm doing now, where it's just like I'm not going to a separate component. I'm just going to do it straight on the page, where this click handler, as soon as they click this, is going to return the task of the name they put in here, and then it's going to create a field of their task. That is the best idea I have at the current moment. Let's see where this takes me. Okay. Okay, so here we're going to return. Maybe I want a form here because this is where they fill out their task. Let me go back to the deliverables because I think I'm getting a little off track. So each their own titles, putting multiple to-dos with each their own titles. So that part we're handling right now. To-dos can be checked. To-dos have a button that will hide or show checked on to-dos. So this is where I see that each to-do should have its own template. So maybe if I import task from task.js and just return that here, I believe that could work. I hope. So we'll see what this one is, if this will work. So here we have to add another file, task.js, and this will handle the task form. So this will be a form. I'm aware this would be generally would be a functional component in a sense, but I'm not too comfortable with that, so I'm going to continue as a class. So we got to do our import React as we do with everything from React. And that's it for that. Class, task, extends React.component just as before. Open curly braces, this is a class. And then we're going to have a state. Oh, I'm not sure we're putting it in just yet. But we do know this will be rendering. And it's going to be rendering a form with the previous task. Okay, so that goes there. Check my time. I still got 10. I got about half an hour left. So okay, so return. And again, we just go from the same format as before. Again, we have to have the opening divs, the closing div, and our JS will live inside of here because this gets computed through Babel into JS. So it looks like HTML and it looks like regular JavaScript, but in the long end through Webpack and through Babel. It gets compiled into JSX code once it hits our system. So here we go, and we're going to create a little form. Close out our form here at the bottom. Make sure we have that good and set. Inside the form, we'll have inputs, and DD. Okay. Placeholder. I'm going to do it this way. Just makes more sense for me, quicker for the task at hand. So this will be priority, input type, checked. Can't find resolve in the source test. Oh, because that's export, that's why. See that error right there. So export task default task. Okay. Get rid of that. No. See what I'm doing wrong here. Task listing. Alright, so we're running into a bit of a problem here. So we're going to see module not found, can't resolve task.js, and the to-do list source. Okay, so we go back up here. Silly mistake. Very silly mistake. Okay, type check that is not. I'm just going to leave that for now, just so I can see it passing through. So when we click here, okay. Let's see. So task list. Ooh, that's the one thing we have to do as well. So task lister. So in the app, we're gonna have to add a state. Okay. Let's see where we're going. We have to actually add a task when we hit that button. So here we're gonna have tasks. This will be set to an empty array at the time. And so now we have tasks, and then this will get it passed down as props tasks equals this dot state dot tasks. So now it has the props as the state of an empty array. So now when we go over to task list and we do on click and task, we're going to first get rid of this. So on click handler, we're going to add a task to that. So trying to think. Let's see. Go back to deliverables. Display multiple to-do lists, each with their own title. To-dos can be checked or unchecked. See, now this is the part where I start getting in my own head a little bit. And the time constraint starts getting in my head, and then it becomes like a blank. Alright, so all we want to do is simply forget about the form. We just want to simply click this button and have a task show up is what I'm after at the moment, rather than trying to get the right deliverable achieved. I want to go to the more simplistic route and just be able to show a task when I hit this button here. So with that, on click should go here. Trying to think, and we have to make this data persist. So this is when I know we are going to be pushing in. I'm just seeing how we're going to do it. Ooh, that's why. Okay. This, I believe, is going to take this in from over here. We'll put it over here. We'll pass it down as a prop. On click equals this dot on click handler. And this is when we'll add task. Set state. Set state. Task. This dot task. This dot state. No, this. No, we'll just do tasks equals this equals. Kind of want to like shovel in a new. See, this is when my mind starts to go a little bit haywire, just because I know I've done this 1,000 times with other apps that I've created, and I've done it quite easily, but now all of a sudden in this context, my head starts to flutter a little bit. I'm going to try and quickly resort back to some of the notes that I took in the readings, because this one of them was actually a really key note that actually really helped me well. So the process notes down here. Where is it? Example of handling the problem. Okay, here we go. So this is what I think will really help me. So figure out the perception of the problem, translate the it's just not in the system. So I'm going to try and do that. So what's happening here? All right, now when I click my button how I had it before, it was not showing up. And this is going to say it's wrong at the moment. So let me get rid of this. So before, how I had it, when I was clicking the button, how I thought it was correct. Backtrack out of this for a minute. Go back to our original state. Keep this how it was. And then we'll put this back on here. Console.log. Clicked. Just so we know we're clicking. At least we can get that far. Nothing is appearing. So it's definitely getting clicked. Oh, return. Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. There we go. Unclicked. Okay. So now that is showing up. Now the question remains: how are we? So on click, we just want to return. Technically, we just want to return task. Is what we want to do. And then task should be some sort of. Let me just make this a div really quick instead. I'm just gonna put some p tag in here. Just say, hey, I'm a task. Let's see if and this is the red text right here. Let me get rid of that because I'm not in JavaScript. Okay. Go back over here and just see. So if I type in here and then hit button, it's still not, so this has to be on submit, I'm believing. I think that is, but on a click it should return this. Is what I'm starting to question right now. I'm not sure why it wouldn't just simply return this. Let's see, I'll click, because I've done this before. Okay. Got it. Got it. This has to be in the render. Okay. So basically, I'm going to have a button clicked here. And we're going to set it to false. So this dot set state. And we're going to make button clicked true. Okay. And then we're going to do a ternary. So if, no, ternary is this dot set, this dot state button clicked. And this is what we put task, if it's true, or we will put test. Just call no. We don't have this here. Button clicked is not defined. Oh. Silly me, gotta put in curly braces. 21 task less than 21 button click. This has a state button click. Not defined. Oh. Again, another mental error here. Trying to do too much too quickly. Hey, I'm a test. Okay, now I got where I want to be. Okay. I did crush a lot of time in doing so, but I got where I want to be and I figured it out. So I feel good about the situation now. So from here is where we can create our form now. So in here, we'll make a nice little form. We'll do task. We want to pass down. Ooh, yes, that's what we want to do. We want to pass down the name is this be this dot state dot name. We're going to pass it down as props if the button is clicked. So now if we go over to task, we can actually make the form name this dot props dot name, and I believe it should, if I had this. Maybe I have to have inputs. Input, we'll do a placeholder priority. See if that goes over. Add task, priority pops up. The name does not, surprisingly. I thought it would. Oh wait, hey. Add task. Hey, there it is. Okay, it did pop up. Perfect. Just what we want. This is just my own styling sake. I just want to see it. Alright. So now I'm just kind of bring it around here. I just want to get a little more separation here. Let me backtrack this a little bit. Say task lister. Add task. There you go. Priority. So now we have the task. And we can do another one. Joe. Oh, well, ooh. So this is a problem. So this is when I believe we would have to, this is why I'm able to change this one, because I believe if I had tasks, yeah. I'm just adding multiple tasks to the same thing. I'm not creating a new div out of that. So that would be a problem I gotta look into now. That might have something to do with the submit, because the big thing now is I should not be able to change this name once it's set in stone, and I believe that has something to do with the unchanged and the way I have that set up. So that is something I'd have to look into. Again, I'm just checking time. I still have another 15 minutes or so. Let's see if we can handle this problem before the time runs out. So right now, we backtrack a little bit. Nothing's persisting. That's another issue as well that I'm realizing now, but I think that's also the way we have it set up besides the task lister. And again, that's also because I believe we're not pushing it into that empty state I have in the top of our app here, which is tasks. We're never, on this click, we're not pushing anything in. So that's why I believe they're not persisting per se. So basically on this click, I think that's why this has to be run here, because on this click we want actually, if we really wanted to and keep it all in house, we can actually take this from here, copy that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Let's see if we bring it over here into the task lister. Let's see if that changes anything. Tasks equal that, bring that down here. So when the button is clicked, that's true. Okay, and then we want our pass up. Okay, this dot state dot task dot push event dot target dot value. I know this might be manipulating state directly, mutating state directly, but I believe that's what you would have to do in this case because you want this data to persist, so we want it to stay there. We want the data to mutate in a sense. I think that's my understanding of this problem right now, currently. All right. Oh, because we don't have event in here, so let's see if we do that, if it lets me do that. Okay. So I go, hey. Now I repeat this, and the hey's gone. Okay, so it's not still not persisting how I want it to. I'm trying to figure out because I think this is where maybe the onSubmit would be the better tool here, but I know onSubmit's more for the form in a sense. So I'm trying to think of how we would get this name here. This dot state name. So that's on change handle that changes state. All right. So that's that. Name is equal to that. Okay. Trying to think here. Okay, so the bundle collected produces that, which is what we want. Let me just fill out this form. So I have a better picture of what I'm looking at here. Input type. Let's get a better picture of what I'm looking at here. So task 1, we add it, and we broke something bad. Okay, what did we do here? What did we do? What did we do? What did we break? What did we break? Include imported. Ooh. So it's let's go back and see if that error persists with that. Okay, no. Okay, cool. Now we have a little onSubmit button, brings us back to a page. Alright, so we got a test. I know from this point forward we'd have to go here. And keep that for now. But here would be the onSubmit. This is where we would have a function in there calling it. I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough time. No, I'm not. I only have about 5 more minutes left. But I will continue on with the 5 minutes I have. I'm kind of okay with the progress I made. Obviously, I did not tackle a lot of these as I got kind of jumbled up again. I think the anxiety started catching up with me a little bit towards that middle part there when I was not seeing it pop up as I explained that I've done it multiple times and not having it work right away kind of set those alarm bells. But then again, going back to those notes I've taken that you've given me, actually did help me work through it. Just took a little bit longer than expected. And now I'm seeing more issues arise here that I won't be able to get to, but I'm going to try and see if I can get anything else done quickly in the time that I have left. Okay, so we got the form submitting, we got our task name popping up that we place in there. The only issue is, like we mentioned before, it's still doing this. So the on change is still hovering over on it. It's not necessarily persisting per se. So I think that just about rounds out my time here. So let me just look at my deliverables one more time, give it one more run through. Everything must persist, so when the user lives and comes back, their to-dos will still be available. See, that's the one that I think I got to work on, and I think that was one of the things that when I first opened up this practice here, that kind of like confused me a little bit, because I know what it means to persist and all that, but like my idea, like I've done it before too. That's the problem. That's my other problem, like where I've done it, but I don't know, for some reason, like seeing it this morning, it kind of like jumped my thoughts and thinking, oh, I need a Rails backend to persist data. I think that's maybe because of the project mode, just knowing that we use Rails all the time to persist our data. So I think now that's like giving me this like confusion. So that's something I'm going to need to look into now, which I have no issue with. But I just want to better that practice, because I think that started to throw me for a loop right from the start, reading that deliverable, knowing that I needed to make sure the user saw everything when they left their page and came back to it. Another issue I think I ran into was just the initial startup of just getting simple stuff to display, like just get the form up from once clicking a button. I think that threw me for a loop. I mean, I know how to do it. I knew the answer. I found the answer in the long end, but I think the alarm bells kind of set off, so I think that's an issue that I got to work on, because I shouldn't have alarm bells for that. It should just be handle the situation, attack it, and go through it, not just have alarm bells right off the bat. But that will go with practice. As far as the form, I believe I'd have to just do a couple Googling with the checked and the unchecked boxes. I believe that's like a checkbox type. I think you'd have to type in the input or something along that line. I'd have to add a button. I'd have to add the delete aspect to it. Show checked and unchecked to-dos. Okay, yeah, that's more like a if checked, false, show, if true, don't show, and that kind of thing. To-dos can have tags. So a to-do, I would just add another filter. I mean, it would just be another input box here where I have, in here where I have priority, I'd set one up. That would just be tags, and placeholder, just so the person would know. I know I can do label name as well. I kind of like this style a little bit better. And then tags, so this allowed them, and then now they can do a search filter for their tags, and it would just show their list by tags. And that would just be another search bar that I would incorporate, which would be an input tag, and I go through the whole process of that. Again, I'm out of time here, unfortunately, but I think I made okay progress. I think I handled a few problems I normally would have just probably folded my laptop up, and I think I handled them a little bit better than normal. Still need a lot more practice, but I think this was a nice first dry run.